My dog is a little shoot. I 35 female, love the booger, but my goodness. Last week, she got out of the backyard while I was busy cooking my BF's dinner for his birthday. My boyfriend, Mike, 40, male, let the dog out during this time and didn't stay out with the digging jerk. When I went to call her back in, she was nowhere to be found. I live in an active city on an active road, and I naturally was worried about her. But my BF, she said, should fine, as we are well known in the neighborhood for our clockwork walks, and someone will see her and bring her back. I went out to look for her anyway, but couldn't find her. I didn't find her for 48 hours, and I was crying from the stress. She's been my dog for 7 years, and I know it sounds odd to some, but she's my girl, my bestie, and love the shoot out of her. I would sob, worrying she was injured or worse on the side of the road. BF said he tried to track the microchip, but it for some reason wouldn't work, and her leash had a tag on it with her location, but BF didn't put it on her because, as he explained, she was just going outside. I have a new neighbor, a F30-something Josie, and turned out she had my dog. She found her tagless wandering her yard 3 doors down from me and didn't know her or me at all, so took her to the local vet, who recognized my girl and called me. So my little shoot was returned to me. I was overjoyed and was thanking Josie profusely, explaining how worried I was, and my BF audibly sighed from behind me and said, "Well, thank frick that's over. She ruined my birthday with that stunt." When Josie saw him, she looked confused but didn't say anything until I walked her out. She told me, "You might not believe me, but he told me last night that you don't have pets." I was confused by this and kind of didn't believe her, but it nagged at me, so I checked our doorbell cam footage, and there it was, clear as day. While I was out looking for my dog, Josie is showing him a photo and asking if he knew this dog, and he said no, that we don't have dogs, and suggested calling animal control. I woke my BF up as he was asleep by this point on the couch and questioned him about this, and he denied it, saying Josie is trying to stir up trouble. I have my dog, so things go back to normal now. And he slipped in that he deserves a makeup day for his ruined birthday. When I told him about the footage, I could see him get really still, and then he admitted to it. He said my dog is old, she's 8. So he was trying to spare me since she will probably die soon, and he wants us to think about the future, not the past, and my dog is indicative of my past. I told him this made 0 sense to me. He saw me damn near fall apart, worried about my dog, and now I can't so much as trust he didn't have anything more to do with her disappearing. He lost it at that, saying he just knew I would find a way to blame him for this, and shouted, "You love that witch more than you love me." I told him that he's the witch and a coward for lying and not being honest about clearly not liking my dog for the past year. Then I asked him to leave. He stared at me like, "You're really going to kick me out right now over a dog?" And I said, "Absolutely," and he cussed me out and went to his place. I haven't read the texts he's been sending me, but it's been a lot of them. He's been gone 7 hours, and I have 27 text notifications from him. He's talked to my brother, Blair, who called me to tell me I hurt Mike for caring more about an animal than him, and not being able to just shut the frick up, be an adult, and celebrate my BF's birthday. I'm confused because we've been together a bit over a year, and I spoil the shoot out of him. We met because of my dog, and he seemed to really adore her this entire time. My brother, though, doesn't much like me these days, so I can't really tell if he's right and I'm the AH, or he and Mike are just in AHs. So am I the idiot? Now for a few comments. Montreal Cowboy X said, "Not the idiot. I'm not even a dog person, but he knew you were upset and heartbroken, and he decided for you that this was better for him. That's just jerk behavior." She's Oddly Mary asked, "I'm a little confused. You said he liked her. And what do you mean when you say he was good to you before? Is this a sudden change?" OP replied, "Sorry, it was just that he was sweet, really sweet. When we met, he first went to her and pet her and complimented how cute she was and how well trained. His brother is a vet, and he said that he loves dogs. He used to run me bathes, hype me up, come to events for me, and now he is like this. Now for the 2-day update. After my post, my BF showed up at my door the next day with flowers and dog treats. I didn't let him in, but talked through my screen door. He said he had time to think and was ashamed of his behavior and very sorry. He explained that he had abandonment issues and got scared when a friend put the idea in his head that I love my dog more than him. The friend, turns out, is my brother Blair. I told him I wasn't ready to deal with him yet, and he asked why not, and I explained from my perspective everything, sort of like my last post, and then added that he shows up without letting me know he was coming, and he didn't let me even speak, just launched into this grand apology. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean the ugly, hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family, from what I know of the story. She walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person and he loves me and just lost his mind a little. It's one mistake. One. I'm sorry. He kept saying it over and over, and maybe I am a broken person, but I didn't feel anything in the moment. I watched him crying and saying sorry and basically groveling, and I just wasn't having any of it. I said we need to talk, but I wasn't ready to have that talk at the moment and need space. He begged me to let him in and only left when some neighbors came by to ask if everything was okay, and he just snapped and told them to frick off and left. Not sure what I'm even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. For now, I am just sitting on a local restaurant patio with my doggo sipping margaritas and trying not to cry. WTF. Now for a few comments. Shez Choatic Good 6599 said, "So I'm going to be a little mean and harsh here, and I apologize in advance for that, but I saw your first post before, and this update just ain't shoot right now. Not sure what I am even doing anymore, or what I will do with him or my brother. What you do with him? You leave him. This man lied to you in your neighborhood. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your hopefully soon-to-be ex told her again that you don't have animals. For that much, how sure are you that he doesn't harm your dog? He seems unstable and has resentment about her, clearly. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean the ugly, hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13, and that I am his person, and he loves me, and just lost his mind a little. This man is manipulating you. If he has trauma, he can get therapy, but that doesn't excuse trying to get rid of your beloved pet and make the day about his stupid goddamn birthday. He doesn't treat you with respect and thinks flowers will fix it, and if not, guilting you by his sob story. God, I am so mad for you and your dog right now. I can barely stand it. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I would not trust that he didn't put something harmful in them to further endanger your girl. This guy sounds crazy enough to do it. So here's where I will be harsher. Baby girl, woman up and dump his butt. I have a sweet partner that I adore, but if he did this, I would kick him to several curbs and I would put him on blast about it so everyone we know is aware that he is an animal aggressor who gaslights and disrespects women. Phew, I need a freaking glass of wine after this. What a grade A jerk. I hope your next update is outlining how you ditched him. You deserve better, and so does your dog. Sorry, this was a little upsetting, but honestly not as harsh as I expected, lol. If this is your harsh, I think you're likely a sweet person. I wanted to address at least some of your comment, but full disclosure, some really bothered me and I can't quite take that on yet, but I'm starting to agree with the folks in the comments that my BF is actually my ex. So here goes. Nothing. Maximum effort. God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your hopefully soon-to-be ex told her again that you don't have animals. I think about this a lot. Josie is a kind human, and I now know that she's a lifelong dog lover and adopter. She just lost both her Labradors very suddenly, and my booger also loves her a lot and gets all excited anytime she walks by my house, which turns out is a lot, as she walks to clear her head when her job gets too stressful. In my mind, I have rolled every scenario of where my dog was and what happened to her the whole time I couldn't find her. My brain went in dark directions and I was a wreck, and my BF was just so dismissive of my concerns. I mean, she could have been run over by a car, eaten something that could make her horribly sick, anything. Playing it back now, remembering all he said and did during this time. I just don't like this guy, and I have a hard time ever trusting him again. I am getting to the vengeful part of my brain, and I can't even start. Tequila is a hell of a thing, and I think it's contributing to me wanting to do things I would never dream of most of the time. As I sit here with my baby, my sweet girl, who looks at me with such unfiltered love and devotion, I can imagine trusting her with a man who cared so little about her that he would toss her to fate. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats. I tossed them out, like dumpster out. I sadly had the same concern. I forgot to mention in my post, but he tried to call my dog over and open the door to give her the treats, so the box was opened when I opened the first door to speak to him. I have no way of knowing for sure if he wants to see her harmed, so I don't know what's in that box. So I tossed it. Phew, I need a freaking glass of wine after this. Baby girl, tequila, trust me, lol. Now for some comments. No, hell no. You can't still be entertaining the idea of taking this guy back, right? Right? And what the shoot is with your freaking brother? What is this guy's damage? Blair and I used to be close, but I am queer and came out over 5 years ago, and he also came out as a hater. I can't really get into it all because it is a lot, but suffice it to say, our relationship went downhill when his bigotry started to show. I guess that makes me an idiot, because when he introduced me to my BF, I should have been suspicious. He was so supportive of us, and my BF was sweet and kind, and never had a problem with my open queerness, and never got insecure or weird about it. He came with me to Pride events and would post about it on social media. We wore matching rainbow outfits and the works. Now I don't trust it. Now for the 3-week update. Hi, it's your super messy friend with her super weenie ex. Not super weenie in the fun sense. I don't much want to get into it, but kind of need to vent to, and most of you, have been really helpful, insightful, kind. So Mike has been weaving the narrative that I am mentally ill. He knows I suffer from depression and PTSD, and for whatever reason, he is saying I am a misdiagnosed schizophrenic. It was relentless. And Blair and Dad have been backing him. It got to the point that I had had enough and hired a lawyer. Cease and desists and 1 restraining order. My father is such a psycho. Long story. Later. And Mike is back on my doorstep. He is now demanding that Booger is his dog too, and he has rights to her, and he is worried about her safety with such a mentally unstable parent, me, it seems. So I said, oh, did I mention this is all through the door cam, that I now have footage again of him being the unstable one, and his weird manipulative threat, on top of me having actual footage of him saying he doesn't even have a pet, would debunk him. I don't know all of what happened because feed cut out, but it looks like the man lost his freaking mind and dismantled my ring cam. At least without my other cameras he did not know were then installed, showing him doing so. Good thing I have a lawyer. Now for a few comments. Messy? Please, save the disparaging comments for the venerable dog you named Booger. I mean, no disrespect. I expect you to continue to use self-deprecating humor. Good thing I have a lawyer. That you say nothing about the lawyer, just that this is an asset, tells me you are nowhere close to mentally unstable. I assume you told your attorney precisely why he's an ex. Sounds like things are still messy and stressful, but it's good that you're taking steps to protect yourself with the lawyer and additional cameras. Hang in there and keep us updated. Now for the 1.5-week update. This is going to be long because I am so freaking livid. Mike is making breaking up utter hell and stole my dog. Now, I've had to move for my and my dog's safety. Has it even been 2 weeks? But now this. A single freaking day after my last post, I was packing up for an impromptu trip. Aria was taking me on, partly to help me relax, and partly to get me the hell out of that damn house so my father, brother, and ex would not know where I was. As such, I got Booger to the groomers. We planned to be away a while, and she was due anyway. I thought I was being a responsible dog mom, and I'm an idiot because I was so frazzled about everything else, I completely forgot to tell them that Mike is not permitted anymore to pick her up. So I go to run errands while Booger got her spa treatments. Don't you dare judge me. She deserves a spa treatment every once in a while. Being a couch potato is stressful, grueling work, you know, and when I return, I am told by the front desk that your husband picked her up. I swear to you, my voice simply stopped existing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just crumpled to the ground and sobbed. He knew the groomer, knew the staff. He would sometimes pick her up for me back when we were together, and I didn't protect my baby by preempting this. How could I have been so stupid? His life mission is getting rid of her. It should have been one of the first things I did. I removed him everywhere else, and I don't know how I missed this. The staff had come around the desk to help me to a chair, and I just wailed. I think I managed to say enough. The police were called, and I could barely speak even to them. They asked if there was someone I could call, any family, and I cried more. I have no one. If anything, my father and maybe brother would help Mike do this. I managed to think and call Aria, and she was on her way, but it was then I looked at my phone. He had texted me. The fricker actually texted me. Starting with, "Hi, baby," as if everything that happened in all this time was absolutely non-existent. He said not to worry, he has Booger, as he picked her up for you. And he is cooking us dinner at his, and I can pick her up after dinner. Then he ended it with, "Love you." It was so unbelievable. I could only just show the cops. One of them asked if they can look through my chat history, and I said yes, and unlocked all the features, and she did. I had forgotten all the hurtful, manipulative, and awful things that moron texted me because the cop just pulled a colleague aside and showed him the screen a few times. I saw him look back at me a couple times, and he left the building. When he returned, he asked me if I had called the police about Mike before, and I said yes. He went through all the times I called in, and I confirmed and told him some of it verbally then. Aria arrived, and she gave her own rendition of the situation and stuck it to them that we did everything we were supposed to do by calling them about this, and we were told they would not help. If Booger is hurt, she will raise an unholy inferno over their useless department. She started to take charge in the absence of my ability to, and asked what they planned to do. They needed paperwork. Booger's papers are all in my name, and the groomer is attached to the vet who provided the adoption and intake paperwork of Booger, which proved I was her sole owner legally. The police went to his home to get Booger, and what I understand to have happened, because I was not there and was only told the official story, Mike let them in, showed the dinner he made. He seemed confused and didn't understand why the police were involved. He made it out that we had a bad spat, but we're working it out, but I am mentally unstable and heavily medicated, and I told him of the groomer's appointment and asked him to pick my dog up. They asked where Booger was, and he said he didn't have her anymore, as my family picked her up so that he and I can have a private, intimate night to make up and work on our relationship. I was home waiting, and I had to deal with another cop coming by and asking me about my mental health and if I am a danger to myself or anyone, because Mike said that he is concerned that I am unpredictable and hurtful. Once again, I showed the texts and some footage of it being the polar opposite, and once again, I explained that all of what I was showing him and more, I've already turned over to the police. By now, I had reached my lawyer, who advised I answer any and all questions pertaining to this specific situation, getting my dog back, and nothing more. So I shut up and simply provided info necessary to this. They found Booger at Blair's, but now Blair had his own story, that I was mentally unstable and unable to care for her, so I asked him to take Booger to a shelter as I didn't have the heart to do it myself. He couldn't provide any proof, so they took Booger with them and brought her home. Booger came for me immediately, straining against the leash to get to me, and I cried on my front step, apologizing to her as if she understood what all just happened. But she was happy and excited. I bet she loved being in a cop cruiser. She just was happy to be alive per usual. The policewoman who handed me her leash gave us information on where to get the paperwork about today's events and said she cannot offer me legal advice, but to be sure to lock everything up tonight and to call if anything happens. I did take Booger to the vet, and the tests that have come back show she is perfectly fine. I've now packed up the majority of my house, and what is not in storage has been moved to Aria's. I am working on preparing to sell it. I can't even imagine going back to that damn place. Mike left me a voicemail lamenting that I sicked the police on him when all he ever tried to do was love me. How patient he has been with my mental illness and my obsession with my mutt. But he now is seeing that my father was right. I don't deserve him. I will never find anyone like him who will love me because I don't deserve love. And when I realize what I've lost all due to my self-centered attitude, I better hope he hasn't moved on. But he's there if I ever decided to grow up and be a real woman and try to fix this with him. But he's not going to wait around forever. An emergency protective order was pushed through thanks to my lawyer. From Mike and Blair, Blair was stupid enough to blow up my phone after the police took Booger to berate me. I don't know what he said as I just forwarded everything to my lawyer, but either apparently was enough. My father lost it, I'm told, but I wouldn't know. He doesn't know where I am and has no way to reach me now. Mike is trying to reverse my domestic abuse complaints and say I am the one harassing him, and that's why he fled to his place. He maintains that I asked him to take Booger, and Blair is backing him up. My lawyer says not to worry, because no one is taking the claim seriously since we have so much overwhelming documentation of both of them harassing me. I've been at Aria's and we are taking the trip tomorrow. Booger is a road dog and loves car rides, so I know she will be very excited. The city we are going to is incredibly dog-friendly, so she will be with us every step of the way. I'm not letting her out of my sight. Aria helped me go through every bit of info and make sure Mike is removed off everything now. All Booger's appointments, all my medical paperwork, all package sign-offs, you name it. All mail and packages are being rerouted to Aria's, and Mike doesn't know where that is. She has another home she rents out as an Airbnb, so once the current tenants are out, she is setting me up to stay there until I find a new job out of town and move. I'm just glad to have her with me right now, because I haven't been able to sleep. I have barely been able to even be around food, let alone eat it. Booger was gone for maybe a total of 5 hours as a whole, but I swear to God it was like a lifetime. I've set virtual appointments with my counseling team and might need to get something to help me sleep. But last night, Booger lopped up into the bed with me and just plopped down and snuggled beside me. I think she knows I am stressed, and the only clear cure is cuddles. She's not entirely wrong. My mind is racing because what would have happened if I didn't already have a lawyer pushing the return of my dog along? Or Aria, who was speaking up for me when I was a useless blob on the floor, crying and accomplishing absolutely nothing. I feel like a failure because it was the time for me to get things done, and all I did was cry like a child. Booger deserves better than me. What if he had decided in those hours to just get rid of her or do worse to her? What was his whole plan? And why would Blair help him? I know he hates me, but Jesus Christ. All I know for now is I am no contact with all 3 of those bastards, and by the time my protective order is up for review next month, new job or no, I will have yanked every root I placed down here and get out of here. Now for a few comments. Perky Cherry, you are not the jerk. Your ex's actions were manipulative and hurtful. You did the right thing to protect yourself and your dog. Now for the update. 4 days later, 8 weeks after the original post, Mike, Blair, and Dad have stepped it up. In the past 3 days alone, this is what's happened. My father has posted in several groups on several social media pages a photo of me, asking if anyone has seen me as I have gone missing. He's put my medical information out there regarding my mental health and stretched the truth so hard, I'm surprised he didn't pull a muscle. In his narrative, I am off my meds, acting irrationally, and have now gone missing after attacking my brother. My lawyer has told me not to worry and that she will have the police take care of it because he is violating his restraining order by doing this. I've been getting calls and texts from multiple numbers. The messages are mostly the same. I don't deserve love. When I was raped, it was my fault or made up because who would want me? I need to take what I can get. I'm embarrassing, insane, unstable, need medications, and on and on. I know one of them either was my dad or sent by my dad because his favorite insult, "You're a waste of space and time," came up more than once. He used to say that to me when I was growing up if I didn't do what he said or tried to change my look in any way. I would cry, and then he would hit me and tell me that my mother was resilient and why can't I be? He'd call me weak and tell me crying is hurtful to him because I was trying to emotionally manipulate him. He hurled it at me when he slapped me for coming out as bisexual, and I ended up apologizing to him for his emotional distress. Because he said he couldn't believe my mother died to give me life just for me to waste it. Sorry, that was a vent. Should I pay you by the hour, Doc? My family on my dad's side have also been coming out of the woodworks to harass me and tell me how bad of a GF, sister, or daughter I am. Some have been fed distorted renditions of what actually happened. Blair told a cousin that I abused Booger and he tried to take her to keep her safe. My cousin didn't believe him because she knows Blair and Dad and how they treated me. She called me only to tell me what was happening, and she also sent me an email to forward to my lawyer. Yesterday, I got another text telling me to end myself. I guess that was the breaking point for me because I was gasping for air, trying to keep myself upright, and Aria had sat me down and gotten me my anxiety medication to calm me down. It's unrelenting. I almost spiraled back into self-harm. Aria kept me company, and we went to every stop on her itinerary for the day. I was able to breathe after a while. Between her and Booger, I was in good company. I go back to therapy tomorrow morning. I swear I am going to put my therapist on the Fortune 500 list with this laundry list of issues. Blair isn't permitted to talk to me, and neither is Mike or my father. But I keep worrying they will pop up somewhere. It's hard to even think this is all over an 8-year-old cuddlebug who literally doesn't have a bad bone on her wiggly body. Blair has never been this bad before. And it's not that long ago I thought Mike loved me and would never hurt me. I feel like I'm going as crazy as they are trying to make me out to be. I have no idea how to even go into work tomorrow like nothing happened. I already emailed our HR rep about the situation in case they try to pull some sort of stunt. I'm paranoid and keep looking around expecting them to be right behind me. All I can do is keep cuddling Booger and hold fast to Aria and her partner Beth, who have been a dream. Good thing I didn't figure out how to add this to my last post because now that it's written out, it's longer than I expected. Sorry. Now for a few comments. Anakalia Kehau. You are going to get through this. You are strong and will get over this speed bump. It's a matter of perspective. They are trying their best to break you. You know it. We all know it. Don't let them win. I know it's easier said than done, but since you know their end game, it should take their power away. How pathetic are they? Anyone who knows you would know that they are lying. Anyone that would believe them isn't someone you should even care about. Just take it one day at a time, and it may be a good idea to take a social media break. Reddit doesn't count because it's anonymous. Good luck, girlie. You got this. Nightwish Teen 76. I'm sorry you have to go through this. Please stop reading these nasty messages. Just delete whatever is sent from unknown numbers. They can't be used in court anyway, and they obviously do you no good. Stay strong. Am I the idiot for refusing to reverse my vasectomy after my wife called my grief a trauma card? I, male 39, lost my wife and unborn son 8 years ago. She was hit by a drunk driver while walking home from work. I was devastated and couldn't even get out of bed for a long time. After years of therapy, I'm better now. I had a vasectomy a year after my wife's passing because I never want to be a father. I met Melissa, female 35, 2 years ago through her sister, my coworker. On our first date, I told her everything, including the fact that I had a vasectomy and would never change my mind about not wanting to be a dad. She said she had no interest in becoming a mom either. We eloped 6 months ago. Recently, Melissa's sister gave birth to twins. I'm happy for her, and of course, do my best to be a good uncle. However, since then, my wife has been nagging me, saying I'm being selfish and should get my vasectomy reversed so we can do IVF and have babies too. I reminded her that I was clear from the start. I don't want to be a father. Now she's calling me a jerk, saying I made this stupid decision when I was grieving and that I should compromise by having just one child. She wants 2, I want none. She says I got my late wife pregnant, so it's very selfish of me not giving her a baby. Am I a jerk for not compromising? Now for a few comments. Commenter, not the idiot. You were clear from the start. Not having children is not something a couple should compromise on. She may have changed her mind, it happens, but you didn't, and that's okay. Another commenter, it's best to get an annulment now than later. Can't compromise on kids. Replied, I don't hate kids at all. I just don't want to have a biological kid. She thinks I'm being unfair because I had a baby with my late wife. Another commenter, it's not about being fair. You made a difficult decision and went through a medical procedure to ensure that. Oup replied, true, but she believes it was a stupid decision that I made while I was grieving. Our life has turned upside down since my seal's twins are born. My wife constantly brings up my late wife and how I'm unfair to her, how I got her pregnant, and how I'm still not over her. Another commenter, so what's her excuse for agreeing with you? Was she grieving or just not telling the truth? The reality is, one of you will have to change your mind if you want the relationship to continue. It seems like neither of you want to do that, so start preparing for the inevitable. OP replied, she says at the time she had no interest, but it's just natural instinct to want to have a baby, and I'm robbing her with my selfishness. Now for the update. Quick update. I'm out for a walk right now because we had a big argument and I needed to cool down. I had a calm discussion with Melissa where I reiterated that I've been upfront with her from the beginning. I decided to have a vasectomy because I never want to be a father. This wasn't an impulsive decision, and I will never change my mind. I shared with her that the first time I stepped into my son's nursery after the accident, I had a complete breakdown. Everything was ready. She was 2 days past her due date. Everything was there except them. To this day, I feel sick looking at a nursery. I told her that if she really wants to have a baby, I will leave peacefully. We can have an amicable divorce, and she can find someone who shares her dreams. She rolled her eyes and asked, how long are you planning to use this trauma card? Why can't you be a man and freaking move on? I told her my mind was made up and that divorce is our only option. She became furious, said she would make my life miserable during the divorce process, called me an infertile limp weenie, and said I was pathetic for not getting over some dead witch. I left the house for a walk. On her Instagram stories, she posted a picture of annoyed Cillian Murphy with the caption, when you want to be treated like a princess, but it's 2024 and your man acts like a princess. Currently, my life. I texted my coworker to see if I can book an appointment with his wife, who is a divorce lawyer. Thank you again for your kind help. Now for a few comments. Commenter, I'm so sorry that the person you trusted to be there for you unconditionally has completely shown that she is incapable of being a kind, supportive, respectful, and loving partner. I could say so many things about this person, whom I hope will be your ex-wife as soon as possible, but I'm trying to be less negative this year. But your soon-to-be ex truly challenges me in being positive. Please get a really solid, skilled attorney. You owe yourself that. I wish you well. Another commenter. I lost my husband 3 years ago. If I were ever to get to a place where I could marry again, and that spouse talked about my late husband the way this woman talked about your late wife and child, I would be in jail. I am so sorry for your losses, and so sorry that the woman you married turned out to be this cruel and awful. Never look back. Hugs. Am I the idiot for canceling my wedding after my fiancé suggested inviting his ex? Throwaway account. IF26 have been with Henry, M36, almost 37, for 5 years. We are engaged and currently planning our wedding. A little background. Henry is the youngest child, and his mother really wanted a girl. Because of this, Henry grew up feeling despised by his mom, who openly says hurtful things like how he was a disappointment from the start or how she never got the daughter she wanted. Despite this, instead of going no contact with her, Henry has been trying very hard to win her love. Henry had a long-term ex, F32, who is very close with his mother. She became the daughter his mother always wanted. However, this ex cheated on him with a coworker and left him. After 2 years, Henry and I met. Eventually, the ex wanted to get back together with him, but he said no and blocked her. Despite this, she and his mother remain best friends. His mother still invites her to family functions, and my fiancé and I just ignore her. His mother doesn't like me and believes I'm the reason she can't have her preferred daughter-in-law. My fiancé has explained many times that he would rather stay single forever than get back with his ex. So even if I didn't exist, he wouldn't be with her. Yesterday, my mother-in-law asked how many guests she could invite to our wedding. I told her that since my parents could invite 8 to 10 people, she could do the same. She thanked me, but an hour later, she smiled and said, "Well, we have one yes already," referring to my fiancé's ex. I told her that was very inappropriate since we aren't even friends with her. She responded by saying that it's her guest list and none of my business. Then she said, I'm insecure because the ex is the whole package and that I'm just a rebound girl. Henry told his mom to stop and asked her to leave. Once she left, he asked if I could be the bigger person and let her have this, as he really wants his mom to be at the wedding. He suggested that if inviting his ex would keep his mom quiet, we should just ignore her. Am I the jerk for not wanting her there? P.S. We are mostly paying for the wedding ourselves, with some help from my dad. Mother-in-law hasn't contributed. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, I mean, you could go a couple of ways with this. 1. Disinvite mother-in-law and her entire guest list. 2. Ask fiancé to get a spine because no way are you having his cheating ex at your wedding. 3. Let ex come to the wedding, but thank her during your speech for cheating on your now husband, because without her being a cheating intimacy worker, you would have never met your husband. I would choose 3, but I'm a petty jerk, not the idiot. OP's response to a comment about mother-in-law's relationship with the ex. She calls her the daughter I always wanted. They do spa days together, hang out all the time. She worships the ground she walks on. On the other hand, my fiancé and I are either criticized constantly or just ignored. His brother's wife usually talks to me during the family gatherings. Last time his brother's wife complimented my baking and asked me for the recipe for the dessert I made. I told her that it's my mom's recipe and I'll take a picture and send it to her next time I'm at her place. Mother-in-law laughed/yelled, "So your mommy made it and you took credit? Surprise, surprise, little girl." I told her no. My mom has the original recipe. I don't want to say by heart and forget something. My mom is on a trip now. How could she make this? Mother-in-law and ex laughed and made jokes about it all night. Henry told me to let it go. That's just who she is when she drinks. Another comment by OP. She does have on and off boyfriends. Every time she breaks up with a guy, mother-in-law comments how she is too good for that guy. She can do better. Yes, mother-in-law and her call me little girl, which really bothers me. She is tall and athletic. I'm short and petite, 5'3", 115 pounds, and my whole life people made fun of me for being little. Henry thinks it's a joke because I'm younger and his ex is insecure. I told him I don't care what the reason is, I hate being called little girl. Added later, she has blonde hair and blue eyes just like mother-in-law. I have dark hair and eyes. She constantly also compliments how gorgeous she is, or how if Henry and her got married, their kids would be gorgeous, as both parents would have blue eyes. Another comment by OP. No, he is not a doctor or a lawyer. His mom calls him a disappointment because his older brother met all her expectations. Eye roll. Firstborn being a boy, straight-A student, good at sports, and he is a lawyer. She calls my fiancé a disappointment from the start. She was hoping for a girl. My fiancé was colicky, which apparently made him a terrible monster baby. He was an average student, and he became an accountant, which in her eyes is a disappointment. Yes, when I met him, he had been working for many years, and I was a university student. I'm planning to continue my studies and get my master's. I'm working currently. He has been very supportive. Then OP added, I just texted him that we need to have a talk when you get home. I'm going to cancel the wedding at this point. I'll post an update after my talk with him tonight. Now for the one-day update. Thank you so much for the comments and DMs. I had a calm talk with Henry and explained how I feel disrespected by his mom's words and actions. While I can't control who she associates with, it is very disrespectful that she invites your ex to all the gatherings and that the two of them constantly pick on me. Henry acknowledged this, but said that's just how his mom is. I told him that it's best we cancel the wedding at this point because I want our wedding day to be a happy, memorable occasion, not one filled with drama and stress. I added that his mom is going to ruin this day and that he's just going to accept it as usual, which I can't tolerate. I told him I won't marry him until he sets some boundaries with his mother. This situation is ridiculous. Henry went on about how he can't cut his mom out of his life because she sacrificed so much raising him and his brother as a single mom, but he admitted he doesn't know how to handle her either. I told him I can't make that decision for him, but I'm going no contact with his mom. I suggested that maybe therapy could help him realize how hurtful and toxic his relationship with his family is and help him decide what to do with his life. I also said I won't attend any more gatherings. He went quiet for a while. Then he called his mom on speakerphone to tell her that the wedding was canceled. She went on and on, saying he finally did the right thing by dumping that whiny witch, calling me insecure and controlling, and saying it was a miserable relationship. Henry kept interrupting her, saying, "Mom, stop." But she didn't care. In the end, he told her, "Mom, we are not breaking up. She's here and heard everything. She canceled it, not me, because you kept disrespecting her." His mom screamed, "That manipulative little witch set me up," and started ranting again. Henry then told her that he needs some time to think, and it's best if she gives him some space, then hung up. We've barely talked since. He's spending today helping his brother with some renovations, and I'm home alone. Hopefully, my next update will be less depressing. Now for a few comments. OP said, "I don't want to make him go no contact with her. If I make the decision for him, he will resent me. Hopefully, he comes up with a solution, or we have to go separate ways. Sigh." You are talking about a man who never raises his voice or swears. When he gets really upset, he just stays quiet. I'm the firecracker in our relationship and joke that his mom broke him because he was not allowed to show frustrations or anger or any emotions. He usually stays quiet, then eventually starts talking. I'm waiting to see what he has to say eventually. She has called me worse when she was drunk. She calls me little girl, midget, rebound girl. You have the body of a 12-year-old boy, while she calls his ex the whole package, gorgeous, the one that got away for Henry. He always tells me to let it go. She is like this when she drinks. Please just ignore her. I'm applying to grad schools. My number one choice is a university across the country. If I get accepted, he has a choice to come with me or stay with his mommy forever. I'm not planning to wait forever because of his Principal Skinner and Agnes Skinner's weird relationship. I'll never guilt trip him. He doesn't owe me anything. I will never force him to choose between me and his mom. He is a grown man and can decide for his own future. I won't try to be friends with his ex just to win him over. He has a choice to end it with me if I'm asking too much. Women's nature to nag? What is this? No, I didn't nag. He needs space to think, so I'm giving him space. We barely talked since then. No, I won't be inviting his mom over anymore. He is just programmed to take it. Years and years of being abused by his mom. He really thinks he ruined his mom's life, and he just has to respect her no matter what. He is very close to my family. My dad and he go golfing together. During hockey seasons, we live in Canada. They hang out a lot and go to the games together. I feel bad for him because I know his mom broke him, but I also can't take it anymore. She really despises me. Now for the update. It's 6 a.m. and I've been crying all night. Sorry for any typos. He broke up with me. He ignored all my texts yesterday, and it was late when I finally texted his brother to ask if he was okay. His brother said, yeah, he left 2 hours ago to give his ex a ride and then come home. I asked, his ex was there, but he didn't reply. When he finally came home, he told me to sit down because we needed to talk. He said, I've thought about our situation, and I think we should end it. He said today, I hung out with my family, and even his mom and ex came over. They all told me that by me going no contact with his mom, it was going to be so awkward and that they'd be stuck in the middle. He said, when you weren't there today, I enjoyed my time with my family. There was no tension, and I didn't have to worry about you being upset. I asked him, why did it take you 2 hours to drop off your ex? Did you sleep with her? He told me I was being ridiculous and that he was just talking to her. He accused me of being controlling and insecure and said I'm isolating him from his friends and family. I asked him again, so nothing happened. He danced around it, but eventually admitted, "We fooled around, but that's it." I told him I couldn't believe what a pathetic, weak man he is, letting his mom convince him to ruin everything, and next, he's getting a BJ from his cheating ex. We ended up arguing, and he went to sleep. I cried all night. Today I'm going to call my dad and ask if I can stay with him. Now for a few important comments. When asked if they made out, OP said, "No, I didn't cheat. Did you guys make out? Well, yeah. Did she blow you? Yeah, kinda. Well, yeah. And? Yeah, I fingered her a little." I was about to throw up when he was telling me these, and still insisting he is the good guy who didn't cheat. OP expressed her anger, saying, "I hate him so much. He had the audacity to make me the problem, and calling me controlling, insecure while he was out there fooling around with his mom's mini-me. I'm going to move soon anyways for my grad school. I never want to listen to his bullshits ever again." She also added, "She opened my eyes about how much happier I am without you. She opened her mouth, sucked your weenie, and you loved it. That's what she did, you stupid, lying, cheating pig." Finally, OP mentioned, yes, his last word last night was, "I want you out of my house soon." I'm glad he left, so it will be easier for him and avoid my dad. I don't even care where he left. I'll send him e-transfer for August rent and expenses, which was due yesterday, and will block him forever. In response to someone blaming her for the cheating, OP said, "Your logic is almost identical to the nonsense my ex-fiancé's. That's pathetic either way. If it's you, Henry, or anyone who thinks like you, I never decided for him. I said my decision was to go no contact with his mom after years of hearing her insults. He could have set some boundaries. Instead, he decided that my decision is going to affect him. His next move was spending 2 hours with his cheating ex and fooling around. If it is you, congratulations on lasting 2 hours. You are usually done within 2 to 3 min max."